Hey everyone, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 4 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, and with me is my co-host Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
Knicks are still winning. I'm happy.
They're on ESPN again, right?
Again.
Oh, man. We're on a... Yeah, I guess so. We're on a streak, right? It's a 4-game winning streak.
That's right.
And I believe, too, the Rangers are also on a 4-game winning streak.
Nobody cares.
Aw, that's hurtful.
That's okay. It's funny considering we're recording all these in advance and how interesting this is going to be for people when they eventually drop. Like, what are they talking about?
I know, right? They're like, wow, the Knicks and the Rangers are both really bad right now.
Exactly.
It's like,
they got into that bus crash. Half the team is out. I don't know what they're talking about. Oh, God.
Well, now they know. We'll keep this in. Everybody, this is recorded in advance.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we are here to talk about my pick, which I have to say...
It's all your fault.
I'm sorry.
I still have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking of South Park right now with the oil spill episode. We're sorry. He's like on the bearskin rug.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So 1 down, 2 to go was the movie.
It was a movie.
It was a movie directed, written, and starred by Fred Williamson.
Former NFL player.
Former NFL player. And
the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 1.
Yeah. So I guess I was going to say, what's your overall impressions? But I feel like all of a sudden we're really quickly letting on that we did not love this movie.
No, listen. I admired it, especially for... So Fred Williamson was really big in the blaxploitation era in the 70s and whatnot. So this is sort of a pseudo-sequel to a different movie that he made with the same crew of guys.
Yeah.
And here it is, like 8 years later, and he's not happy with... His career is doing fine, but he's not happy with what's going on with Jim Kelly and Jim Brown and Richard Roundtree, the man, Shaft himself. And he's like, let's just make another one. And they shoot it in 3 weeks, and this movie feels like it was shot in 3 weeks.
Yeah, because it sounds like... I think it was Warner Brothers or something, right? They were like not even interested really in doing one.
Yeah.
Like... They were like, and it sounds like, too, this was a side project, which was part of the reason why it was done so quickly.
Yeah, he was about to start Vigilante, another movie that he had lined up. So it's the blaxploitation era was pretty much over by the early 80s. They weren't making these kind of movies anymore. So it's really even barely a blaxploitation movie this itself. It has shades of it because it has 4 black leads. Otherwise, there's really not a lot of blaxploitation to it.
Yeah, it seems to be
There's too many white people. There's too many white people who blaxploitation.
There's a lot of white people. It does seem to be kind of stuck between 2 eras.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, where it seems like there are parts of it that feels very 70s, but then there's other parts that's very 80s.
I will say this. I am excited to go back and watch the golden age of Fred Williamson films. Like, I want to see Black Caesar and stuff.
I want to see
he's got a presence about him.
Oh, for sure. And we'll get that when we talk about Heroes.
Yeah.
But I want to see the technical first one.
It's a cowboy movie. Your favorite.
He does consider this one a sequel in spirit.
Yeah.
So I am curious to see it because it sounds like that was held to a higher esteem.
Yeah, very much so.
Than this one. So I think this one is... I remember being very like, how did this one slip by me? Look at the actors in this one. How did this slip by me? I know why it slipped by me.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Whereas Junkman is a very sad story of how it slipped through the sands of time. This one's like, I get it.
Yeah. And I think this is the same with Sword and the Sorcerer. Like, yeah, okay, this makes sense why this one slipped by.
Yeah.
So far I can't say that I felt guilty or like, oh man, I can't believe I didn't get this. Like, yeah, okay, I kind of get it.
I feel guilty for having not seen more Fred Williamson movies before this. I'll say that much. Like, I want to go and check out more of his stuff.
Yeah.
So it's success in that part, at least.
I'd agree with that. Yeah. So it does make me want to check out stuff.
So you want to describe the plot to this movie? So
yeah, I will try. So basically, the gist is, some white guys decided to put on a martial arts tournament. And they're from, I guess it seemed like this movie's set in New Jersey, although I think it's filmed in Long Island.
Staten Island.
Staten Island's even better.
Though the original fight we see in the karate tournament takes place in like where I grew up as the Izod Center in the Meadowlands, where the Nets played and the Devils. I don't even know if the thing is still standing today, but
I don't know.
I think the Devils moved to a new home. The Nets are in Brooklyn now, so. But that's where it was, and after that, everything is in Staten Island, which somehow looks like rural Alabama.
There's not a whole lot going on.
No, maybe that's how Staten Island looked in '82. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of experience with Staten Island growing up either. Like I don't remember going there very often.
That's where the cops lived, and I didn't want to hang out there.
So I don't really know. But so they put on this tournament, and for whatever reason, they invited these people out from California.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to have someone to play.
Sure. And I guess they were trying to make some money off this tournament. It sounded like there was. I'm a little confused on how they were trying to make money. Right? They were trying to profit by betting. The mob is
involved.
Right. So it sounded like it was supposed to be a pretty done deal. This bet they were supposed to profit. The mob was going to profit off it or something.
Yeah.
And turns out they're not doing so well in this tournament, and so they start trying to they're trying to cheat so they can ensure their chance of winning. They have a ref that they're paying off. They put weights in the gloves.
Yeah.
And they lose anyway, even with all this cheating. They lose anyway, and
that's the best.
The guys from LA who are on the other side of this tournament are catching on pretty quickly. They investigate. One of the characters.
His name was explanation, huh?
Sorry, his name is Chuck, right? Yeah. So basically, he investigates. He gets caught up and he gets shot at, and he's on the run trying to get out of this. In the meantime, a girl gets kidnapped while he's on the run, trying to escape these guys. And then two of his buddies are called in to figure out what's going on. And it basically turns into almost a detective thing, mystery, trying to solve what's going on with their friends.
That's a very kind description, but all right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm trying. And so as they're going through this process, they'll take out all the bad guys.
They certainly did.
Yeah. So sorry for my detailed description. Yeah. It is two movies jammed together.
Everyone had to have their time to shine.
Yeah, because you get the two guys that have like the first half of the movie, and the other two guys get the second half of the movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's just like this whole thing is a showcase for like why these actors should be used more for Hollywood. And in that, I'm like, sure. I mean, especially Richard Roundtree should have had a bigger career than he had. He's the only natural actor in this movie, and you miss him every time he's not on screen. You really do. Like,
you really do.
I love Shaft.
For sure.
You've seen Shaft, right?
The original?
Yeah.
No, actually, I think I've only seen like... Wow, that's hurtful. I saw the Samuel L. Jackson remake in theaters when it came out. But yeah.
No, you should check out the original Shaft. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, I know the song very well. I've seen clips, but I've never seen the movie in entirety. But like actually seeing beginning to end was the Samuel L. Jackson movie, and I never got to see the remake.
Let's never talk about that
one.
Again. No.
Okay.
No. We saw the trailer and we're like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
So it turned into a slapstick comedy. I can't handle that.
Yeah.
But the original Shaft is a fantastic movie. I think I saw Shaft. I think the second one's called Back in Action. I can't remember. And I never saw Shaft in Africa. I know I didn't see that one. I want to. I want to see them all.
Yeah. Wow, that's a title. Shaft in Africa?
Shaft in Africa, yeah.
Okay.
That's the third one.
All right. All right, so should we start with Hero?
Sure. The way I have broken it down, I declared the hero this to be let's see, Cal, Fred Williamson, and Jim Brown as
co-heroes. Yeah, they're clearly the main two heroes. They get a lot more screen time.
And the other two I put into sidekicks.
Oh, is that what you did?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I just put all four.
No, so that's not right.
I don't really.
Jim Kelly is in 15 minutes of this movie.
It's really
Richard
ridiculous,
Roundtree is
though.
Not much better.
They have the whole first half of the movie is split between those two characters.
It's not an even split.
No, it's not. Like it's a lot of Jim Kelly and the beginning, but then he's like.
It's kind of weird. Match. Jim Kelly tags in Richard Roundtree.
Right, exactly.
Roundtree tags in the next two guys.
But I kind of put the two girl bartender as more of the sidekicks.
They have even less screen time, but
I guess
I think Fred and Jim Brown are the two leads.
Yes, I would agree with that one. What is it? It's Cal and Jay. Cal and Jay, yeah.
It's okay if you don't remember. They barely ever say their names or anyone talk to them.
Correct. And it's the movie definitely turns up a notch when they show up.
They arrive in separate limos.
Yes.
Very
particular styles in each limo, right?
Yeah, Jay clearly shows up in this straight-laced, beautiful limo. Three-piece
White
suit.
man opens the door for him.
Three-piece suit. He's dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
Cal arrives in a limo driven by a woman and he kisses the limo driver goodbye. Then he kisses the two girls goodbye that were in the back of the limo with him. And it's just beautiful. I'm like, oh my God, I love this.
His chest is visible the entire movie.
I have this written down. He only ever buttons the bottom two buttons on his shirt. Throughout the entire, I'm not even kidding. It is always what he does, just the bottom two buttons. And
it has to be just open. It is a nice looking chest. The man's a man. He's got a nice little ripped chest.
I got it. Yeah.
And I guess the next big feature for Cal here is his. What do you call it? A cigar? A stogie? What kind of thing is it?
We'll call it a cigar.
Cigarillo?
Is it I don't know.
Cigarillo?
It's really long.
Really long and thin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a cigarette. It's clearly in the cigar family. I think it's a cigarillo. It is insane. It's like, I guess, his kind of calling card of sorts.
Yeah.
And it immediately causes some issues because somebody messes with his cigar. Which causes some confrontation. Like, don't mess with the man's cigar.
No.
Right? But then he does something that just really disturbed me.
What was that?
He puts the cigar in the dog's mouth.
Oh, at the end of the movie?
No.
Wait,
He does it in the bar. That's when it first happened.
I missed that. So that dog's there in the beginning.
The dog pops up at least 3 times.
I have missed the dog the first 2 times.
Oh my God. This is the part that I'm most fascinated with, Patrick. I can't believe you missed this.
This is not the most fascinating thing for me, but okay.
Oh my God. So he puts the cigar in the bar because the dog, that was not his dog. That dog did not come out of the limo. The dog belonged to somebody at that bar. And so
the bar dog, I guess. I don't
know. I don't know who it belonged to. I think it was one of the bad guys because the dog was growling at him at the bar. Okay. Right when the confrontations happened at the bar, the dog's growling at him. He sticks the cigar in the dog's mouth. The dog quiets down.
I see. I have this as my last note for this section. At the end of the movie, 3 of our 4 guys are in the hospital recovering.
Yeah,
and they are shooed away by, and I have written down, Cal's unseen until now dog, who closes a curtain that goes over a door, which is weird. And the dog gets a cigar as a reward, and that's the end of our movie. Like, what?
No, see, this is where you get it wrong because
the
dog popped up earlier in the movie, and then he pops up again in between that end and that other part too, because the dog ends up, I forget the scene, but the dog ends up growling or something at someone else that he's interrogating later on in the movie. Mm-hmm. So the dog starts following him around.
Oh, wow.
So it's weird. Like
he wins the dog's trust with the cigar.
Yep, you give me the cigar. Thank you. I'm your buddy for life. That's what that dog is doing.
All right, one, I am really disappointed in myself. I must have been just writing notes when it happened. And as a huge dog lover, really disappointed in myself. What a huge L for me.
I know. That's why I'm kind of shocked that you were like, how is this not a bigger thing for you? But yeah, so he gives the dog a cigar. The dog's like, cool, man. And then he comes to his aid and helps him and growls at one of the bad guys later. And then he pops up again at the end. So you only see him those 3 times, but clearly the dog is always around to be with his new pal.
What really got me in that scene was Jim Brown, Jay, whipping out one of the biggest guns I've ever seen in the movie. And
it was like a Magnum.
It's a giant freaking gun. And he shoots it once in the air and tells... Does he shoot it? I can't even remember. But he has it up in the air and tells everyone, announcing, I'm staying at the Holiday Inn.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, if you want trouble, that's where we are. It is such a baller move.
I think, like, the most used location in this movie is the Holiday Inn.
Gets a lot of pub.
Yeah.
Holiday Inn in Staten Island was happening.
Yeah, I guess so. It's...
It looks like the only Holiday Inn hotel or any business, really, except for that bar.
It really doesn't look like there was much around that hotel.
Nope. Not much going on in Staten Island in 82.
For sure. So, it's... I don't know. I still can't get over the dog. I can't believe this dog is smoking. What are we doing? This is so horrific.
Do we know what Cal and Jay do for a living?
I have that note. I have no idea because they do make a comment, and I think it might have been Ralph, right? That was like, no, I don't want to call them, or maybe it was Chuck. I can't remember. One of them was like, we can't call them and tell them exactly what happened
or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, so what are they? Are they gang members? What do they do? Why are they going to shoot other people?
In the description IMDb, they call them cops. I'm like, they never whip out a badge. They never identify themselves as policemen.
It would definitely make I was about to say sheriff, it would make the relationship with the sheriff make a little bit more sense.
By the way, that is the character I'm most obsessed with, and I'm excited to talk about him later.
Okay. I guess we should wait for sidekick because I guess he's technically a sidekick. He's definitely a side character, but it is nuts, that character and everything there. But yeah, it would make that relationship make more sense if they were cops. But yeah, there's no indication. And why would cops be getting driven around with limos and limo drivers?
It doesn't make sense. They just happen to be really tough investors.
Yeah.
They put up the money, I guess, or half the money or part of the money for the LA dojo run by Jim Kelly.
Yeah, and I guess Ralph is like the one that's like, hey, I got this other idea. And they're like, no. And it's like, so I guess Ralph is the guy that gets him involved in a lot of this stuff. That would have been really fun to explore, but you don't get anything from any character ever.
No. I want the first great line of the movie. You might be an expert in kung fu, but I'm an expert in gun fu.
Gun fu, yeah. Yeah. That was...
said by Alfred Williamson with a straight face, God bless him.
Yeah.
Had I been Jim Brown, he wasn't in the scene, I would have tried to tackle him before he tried to utter that line. Like, no! You can't say that out loud.
And it's funny, we do get some martial arts obviously in this movie, and it opens up with it. We'll talk more about it kind of
in action,
when we get to the action piece. But these guys are not martial artists. They really will shoot up the whole town. And do, yes. And so it's interesting. And I don't know which one is more fun. I guess Cal's more fun.
The ladies love him too.
Jim Brown, though, had a couple of fun bits, though. I thought the intimidation of the banker was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, the problem was, for me, too, with Jim Brown, I don't know if they only had, 2 working microphones ever on set or something like that.
Exactly.
Because it was specifically a Jim Brown problem where I could, what did he say? I can't, he's talking really quiet to be extra intimidating. I'm like, and there's no subtitles for this thing whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have no clue what he just whispered to that guy.
There is quite a few times where you're like, I have no clue.
It's just a choice.
He's talking so low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I get the intimidation thing. He's supposed to be the cool, calm guy, but then we need to turn the volume up or something.
Well, he does have one clearly spoken line that stood out to me, which is where him and Jay walk into a room and tell him, we're with the firm of Truth and Consequences. As he's like cracking his knuckles. I'm like, okay.
I don't know where it came from or who said it or whatever, but there was one, I think it was Jay, where he like looks over to somebody and was like, I didn't ask or something. And it was like, that came off awesome. I love the way that came off. So yeah, the Jay interrogates a lot, and I enjoyed greatly all the interrogation scenes because I thought they were legitimately terrifying, even though you could barely hear what he's saying.
The size of, I don't know what size the banker was. He had to have been 5'4" or whatever to make Jim Brown, who is like 6'2" and change, and a massive man, one of the greatest athletes they ever lived. But he looks like the Incredible Hulk compared to standing next to him, and just like, woo, yeah.
Well, I love it too. He comes off all nice. He's like, "Can you show me and point to where I need to sign?"
Yeah,
or whatever.
You're right. Where to sign? Yeah.
And then he puts his hand down and
the size of his hand is like 4 times the size.
Yeah,
of his hand.
It was really awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's like you don't really get a whole lot from him because everything is kind of whispered. All you kind of get is he's going to be clear, or he's going to be more dressed up. He's going to be more reserved. He's going to speak quietly.
He's constantly shaking his head at Cal's antics with the ladies.
Yeah, and that's about it.
Yeah, I especially enjoyed, speaking of Cal's antics with the ladies, when he comes into the hotel room and there's just a random other bartender is in the room.
Yeah. It made me think of...
she's already in the shower?
Yes. Or, no, I think she goes into the shower, right? Doesn't she? She walks into the shower or something. Oh, no, wait, you're right. She was already
She's already in the shower, and he opens the door, and there she is, and she says, you don't need that gun in here.
Yeah.
And he walks in and throws all the clothes and his gun out the bathroom door.
Yeah, but for some odd reason, we have to sit there as each article of clothing is...
It's like, there's the shirt, there's the pants, there's the sock, there's the gun, undershorts.
Yeah. We get each boot, too. Individual boot being thrown. I'm like, this is kind of insane.
Yeah, this has gone on too long.
Apparently, there was a longer sex scene, but they had to cut it due to time.
Oh.
Which I thought was interesting, because it's not like a super long movie.
That's an odd thing for them to pat, it's an hour and 29-minute movie, but...
Yeah.
All right.
But, all right, I don't know. I just saw that quick.
Usually these kinds of movies thrive on nudity to get people in the seat, but...
I know, so I was a little surprised. Not that I was like, this movie is dumb because of that, but it did seem like a little bit, like of a little bit of a Bond moments there with the girls there, who's like almost seducing him instead. There's like innuendo jokes, but then it would have just cut or faded to something else instead. We get an individual article of clothing. Which is funny, but yeah, so he's definitely more of the charismatic
and he pulls it off. Fred Williamson is very charismatic.
He's very charming, even with the gun fruit.
Yep. No, he's charming. Not
right. Yeah.
That part, not so much. He can be intimidating just because of his actual size, but they didn't amplify that so much in this movie. Especially since a lot of the action is gunplay.
I guess it's funny. One of my lines is about Cal. What a stash. 2 women. He kisses goodbye. He is a coxman. And then my next note is, what do they do as their real jobs?
Yeah, no, I have that like...
They do not seem to be involved in this martial artist stuff because they don't do any martial arts.
Nope. They're just investors. They're angel investors.
I'm like, they seem like detectives. And then I was like, did he adopt this dog?
That's all the notes I have for our 2 heroes.
Yeah, I mean, I got a couple more dog things. I was like, Cal's a lot less clothed. And then I guess they seem to get brought into this stuff a lot by Ralph, and then that's about it for heroes.
I gave them a 2.5.
I do have other notes on the other guys, but you're counting them as sidekicks. I counted them as additional heroes, seeing they're all on the poster front and center.
Yeah, but
just
a lot less screen time.
I guess. So 2.5 you went with.
I went 2.5, just because they're a lot of fun.
Just because the heroes in general were a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess so. I could have gone with a 3, so I guess 2.5 is fair.
You want to go 3? I can go 3 if you want.
Yeah, I just thought Cal and Jay were just they were so I don't know, what is it, macho, hilarious. Yeah, they just played the archetype well, and they were a lot of fun. So as much as like there might have been some cringe lines, I thought, and some lines that you can't hear, I still had fun with them.
Oh, as much as I like to mock the gun fu line, I clapped and laughed very loud.
Yeah. So here's going to be a short one. Villain.
Yep, this is my least noted character category.
Yeah. I'm still slightly... Okay, so there's 3 villains?
Really 1.
Right? I mean, because it's like... You get the dude in the building, right? The apartment building guy. And I'm trying to... Is he the mob guy? Is he the one that's the part of the mob? Or is the guy at the end?
No. The guy in the apartment building that Jay kills. That's the one in the mob. The one
where he got the money. Right. Yeah, and he was the one that was threatening in the beginning.
Yeah, he threatened the actual bad guy, which is Rossi.
Right, which is the tow truck person guy.
Yeah, he seems to own a garage and lives in a plantation-style house, which I don't know where they found that in Staten Island.
That would have been fascinating to know. I really want to know if it does exist.
And I think he drives a pickup truck?
Yes. No, the insane thing, it's a pickup truck with a hood ornament on the front. Did you notice that?
I did. I'm like, wait, is it a... Wait, no.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out. I had to rewind it.
It's like a epic-looking horse or something as the hood ornament. And it's
I'm like, does he own a horse farm in Staten Island or something? What is... This doesn't make any sense.
Where is the buddy? And he's driving that car. He owns this crummy-looking garage. Mm-hmm. Where is he getting the money for this epic house? His well-to-do wife looks like a young, nice wife that he's got, and like fancy family, and he's driving around in this crummy pickup truck with like something that like your crazy uncle or cousin would have put together.
I'm not sure he has more than like 7 minutes of screen time though.
Yeah, but I think he's the villain that basically gets the most.
Yeah,
because you see more of him in the beginning part.
Either him or the gas station attendant.
Yeah. And I didn't get the tow truck thing at first, right? Because, like, at one point, when our first 2 heroes / sidekicks are trying to go hold up in a shack somewhere, a tow truck just randomly stops and pulls around and starts, like, following him. Like, where? What? Like... you don't get clued in later until after that like this is actually connected to that guy and that he owns this tow truck fleet. I guess that's keeping tabs. Is like, what is this nonsense?
Yeah.
And then the shootout at the end, I don't think there was a bad guy with
it's just all the henchmen.
Yeah, exactly. So most of the battles here, who were just randomly raping. There's no plot of rape. It's just. Why not extra bonus for them, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. It was gross.
I don't even know why. Why did they kidnap the girl they just raped?
As far as most, they didn't show anything. Just a lot of writhing on the ground and tearing of clothes.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's still horrific and like, all right, well, why?
What was the point of kidnapping her?
Yeah, couldn't really figure that out.
I don't get it.
Especially since at the time, they were only interested in the 2 guys they already had cornered.
Yeah, and at this point, they had the money.
Yeah.
So, why? It didn't make any sense.
Couldn't tell you. The only other note I have for this is that at the end of the movie, in the I don't know, the construction site, whatever it is. One of the henchmen has this like Donny Osmond 70s style puffy newsboy cap, and he just looks so ridiculous, and I laughed every time he was on screen. That is the end of my notes for villain, because there's nothing else.
A lot of the henchmen are kind of ridiculous. Like, there was one henchman that actually looked like they could take on one of them.
Yeah.
There was like one random muscular kind of guy.
Just the Italian gentleman, yes.
Yeah, the rest of them were all overweight.
Yep.
Short.
Yep.
Some really scrawny. Like, it really looked like they just got some guys off the street. Like, there's like this one older, overweight, taller guy, and then there's another shorter, overweight guy, are like the two henchmen that get like the most screen time.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the best we could do.
Shorty's the big raper, and that's about it.
He needs to get his rape on, I guess. I don't know. And it's just like, and they're held out with her in this random, construction or abandoned building area, and it's like, to what avail? I have no idea.
It doesn't. No.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So like, it's weird. So you get really bad villains. There's like, none of them are interesting. I guess the most interesting one, is the tow truck guy, because it's so bewildering and weird. But I don't know. I guess the gangster guy is okay. I guess I don't know.
He's got two
it's
scenes.
A one.
It's a one.
It's a one. It's a one.
Let's just move on. I'm so already bored talking about it.
Fair enough. Action. Right? That's the next one? Are we do sidekick next? Or
no,
sidekick
action.
last?
So the karate tournament. This movie opens with the karate tournament, right?
Yeah.
These are real fights.
Yes. He actually paid everybody. Like, the winner's got a certain amount, and the loser's got a certain amount.
$500 for the winners at the actual fight, $100 for the loser.
I can't believe he actually got a tournament together for this side project that's in a couple-week movie.
Here's my problem with this tournament, too. I'm like, cool, wow, these guys are really going at it. But, one, they're not doing karate. It looks like they're doing kickboxing. And two, I don't think they know how to do kickboxing or karate.
I didn't think so either,
They were swinging wildly.
Yes, I have like the same notes. It's just like wailing.
Yeah,
it's insane. Like, they're just flailing. There aren't the kicks look legit.
Character where like the bigger one holds the other one's head and he's just like throwing his arms out and hitting air. That's what it looks like. And it's like every once in a while they'll throw a kick and then it goes back to just throwing punches and swinging. I made the same note. I was like, what is going? So it's weird because it's like, it's legit. Like, they're actually making contact. They are hitting each other, right? They're trying to win money. You can tell. It's very noticeable. Like, you're getting legit, like, connection. But at the same time, you're like, this looks super weird because there's no skill or when you see
really.
Like the fists connecting, and you're like, oh wow, cool. And then you're watching a little more like, oh, this is kind of sad looking.
Yeah, and it's really weird, too, because eventually you get it split with Jim Kelly's little fight scene in the hallway. It's really short, and it's really bad. It's some of the worst of the martial arts in the movie. Like,
well, there's only two martial arts scenes in the movie.
One is good.
Yes.
The second one is good. The first one's really bad, and it's like, he clearly doesn't connect on most of his hits, and they're splicing and going back and forth between the actual contact to his fighting of no contact. They couldn't
really afford decent stuntmen. I think this is all done non-union. So
that would make sense.
Yeah.
Again, this is a side project. Like, do it really quickly.
So, like, when he's fighting those guys in the hallways, like, these are non-union stuntmen. They don't know what they're doing. Jim Kelly just has to kind of, like, take things through the motions. Jim Kelly is a real badass mother. He can take out anybody.
It's just odd because it's so, like, to put the scenes together. So when you're seeing actual contact, even though it's weird wailing, with really spotty bad stunt work fighting, it's just so much more glaring. It's so much more like, whoa. What am I looking at?
Luckily, like you said, we get to that second fight scene where Jim Kelly has that one arm is all messed up.
He's got shot in the shoulder.
He got shot in the shoulder, but he's going to take on the opposing, the New York dojo master.
Yeah.
And it's a nice
Who is
fight.
Not a fan of the cheating. He was like the one that was like, I don't want to be cheating.
My guys can win on their own.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But the fight is really good.
It was shocking because from that point I was like, oh my god, this is not going well, right? And like you see really bad wailing fighting, you're seeing bad hallway fight, and then you're seeing them about to fight. You're like, oh boy, what are we in? This is gonna be bad, isn't it? And you're like, oh no, it's good. Like this is good.
Yeah, no, you could tell he's got his Enter the Dragon skills showing off really nicely.
He even tries to do a little bit of noises, like
you know
Bruce Lee noises. Yes, he does some Bruce Lee noises. Yeah, a little bit, but it's fun. Yeah, and he's it's going back and forth. It's not just him kicking butt. Like it was really well done. I was really surprised by it.
Yeah, and I didn't hate the fight scene that Richard Roundtree had with the gang of guys. When they woke him up in his car and.
Oh, Paul, he gets a couple in there, and then he gets hit over the head, and he's done.
Which I was really scared. I thought they killed him off. I was like, no!
I thought so, too. It wasn't until later on you're like, oh, he's alive, because they really made it look like he died.
Yeah.
Like, he took a pretty big hit to the head.
I also like that Jim Kelly got laid right before all that happened.
Oh, of course.
Richard Roundtree somehow, Shaft himself, is the only one who... No, Jim Brown doesn't get laid either. But,
yeah.
Okay.
I also understand why there was a house, but they held up in the shack. Is it just they just didn't have keys because it was her uncle place or something? Was that it?
If it was a line of dialogue, I missed it. But that's where they were hiding. It's funny how like after the fight that Jim Kelly had with his one arm, he gets shot again.
Yep.
As he's running away, because the whole gang's like, enough of this, like, our guy's losing. And he literally just runs through,
distracts them first to try to, like, he kind of, like, makes a motion or something. He tries to distract them, goes in to hit one of them so they, like, he could get away because they had a bunch of guns pointing at him or something, right. But then he still gets shot. But yeah.
He runs away, and he just goes to, like, the next house over. And all the guys just like, I think he shot him anyway. We don't need to go after him. It's over.
He's going to die. He's going to bleed out, right?
Yeah, I think you got him. It's fine. Let's just go.
Yeah.
We got more raping to do, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, let's take her for later, I guess.
Yeah, it makes zero sense.
No.
And then the rest of the movie is just shooting action.
Yes. Which is a completely change of action styles.
Yeah.
You've got all martial arts to this point.
Yep.
And I think like one or two gunshots happen. He gets shot in the shoulder, and then there are a couple of shots there when they're shooting at him. But otherwise, it's all martial arts.
I'd like to when Cal and Jay get on the screen, like I said, all of action right now is just shooting with their giant guns. They're matching giant guns.
Yeah. Which apparently they use similar guns in the pseudo first one as well.
Oh, the cowboy movie? Okay.
Yeah, and I guess a big running joke that they got a lot of slack for was that they never reloaded.
Yes. The only person who reloads in this movie is Richard Roundtree.
Right, because he's got a different type of gun. I think that's the reason.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he's got the revolver.
But I want to know what kind of ammunition these guys are using. It's like they have exploding bullets or something. Because anything they shoot out explodes. And it's not just like guns. I mean, piles of wood just suddenly start lighting on fire. And I'm like,
they were at one point in the garage with like husks of cars. Like, so there's like nothing left in it that could explode. So they can't explode. Oh, they explode.
It's insane.
It is insane, and I loved it. I cackled every time something randomly exploded. There was one time where it kept happening, yes, where the one guy's getting away, I think, at the Holiday Inn, right?
Yeah,
they get around back, they shoot, and then random explosions, and I just threw my hands up and go, what?
No.
What just happened?
It's real silly. I mean...
Yeah.
The very first, real action, modern day action movie is Dr. No, right? And it's a really funny explosion where a car goes off the cliff, the three blind knights.
Yeah.
It goes up, and for some reason the car explodes as it goes down. And that ruined movies forever because everyone decided cars just automatically explode anytime it gets any kind of impact.
They just have to, I guess.
Yeah, and I think this is like that part of that disease. Like, stuff's got to explode.
It's just got to happen.
Yeah.
I appreciated it. I really liked it.
I really lost it when the wood just lit on fire. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Was it covered in gasoline? And
no, it's magic bullets.
Yeah.
Magic bullets.
Magic bullets, man.
Explosive rounds, man. It's like something you get in a video game.
Yeah, exactly.
You got upgraded.
The only other thing I'd like to mention in this whole category is the gas station attendant who we see throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he dies. Off-screen death.
Oh, yeah. They shoot the tires?
They shoot the tires to crush him to death.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool idea, but they don't show it. They just show the shooting of the tires and the car kind of sinking, and you hear him scream. Like, oh,
it would have been a really cool visual to see. Yeah. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, lame. They don't show anything. Like, this is something like I would have loved to see, like, some visual director get a handle on.
It was like watching an Olympic diver come off the board, do crazy flips and flips, and then like hit his head.
They cut away.
Yeah, and like what? No,
I would take away. I would think of it more as like you're seeing something really cool, but then you cut away, so you don't get to see the ending of it. You're like, no.
Yeah, no, it's a big bummer.
Big bummer. I like the. Jay's character has a sixth sense of knowing when somebody's popping up, because it's not until the garage scene does anybody actually shoot at him, because he always is like, oh, there's someone there in the hallway down here,
the mob guy,
in the dark. Boom, shoot. Somebody just came from the balcony randomly. I will turn and shoot him before any shot is fired at me. I know somehow he's behind me. And it was like, man, Jay's got superpowers.
He's got that golden eye radar.
Yeah. And then he's in the garage and he's like tricking bad guys. He's like, I'm going to put the money or the suitcase, because we never actually see the money ever in this movie. But we see the suitcase on top of a roof of a car, and he purposely is hiding.
He's like the next car over, just waiting for the suitcase. Like, ooh, so tricky.
So tricky. And the last thing I would say is that end fight scene, action sequence is... I was dumbfounded by it. There literally is the ending shootout is something that you would see in like a Revolutionary War time battle where they just line up against each other.
Are just staring at each other, pointing their guns right to point blank.
They're really close to each other. No one's hiding behind anything.
Yeah.
No, they're very close. They're hiding behind nothing and just firing at each other. It's like, okay.
Surprise, surprise, they all get shot, except for Richard Roundtree.
It was so weird, but that's why I was like, whoa, I don't know what just happened there. That was insane.
I give it a 2.
I gave it a 3.
Wow.
I know. I thought the exploding stuff was hilarious. I guess it's more so bad it's good type of stuff, I guess.
No,
I meant so bad that it's good. It just cracked me up, the explosions. Again, that whole fight thing at the end where they're just staring at each other fighting is hilarious. That one martial arts scene is really good.
It is good. That's why I gave it a 2, just for that, because I wasn't as enamored with random stuff blowing up as you.
All right. I thought it was hilarious.
2.5?
2.5. 2.5 then. Yeah. Cool. All right.
Sidekicks.
This is my next shortest category because I did not put those other two in here. So,
well, we got Jim Kelly, Chuck. Sorry, I hadn't said his character name. I literally forgot it until just a second.
Chuck.
And Ralph is Richard Roundtree. He's playing Ralph.
Do you know off the top of your head when Eddie Murphy's Raw comes out?
Not off the top of my head, but I want to say it was like
87.
Was 87 that long?
87, apparently.
So you want to talk about Jim Kelly's leather suit?
Yo.
This ketchup and mustard leather suit, which I think this is part of the reason why that first karate scene he does in the hallway is no good, because he's wearing this super tight...
Oh, yeah. There's no way you can move well.
You can't move in that.
Yeah. You will be very loud too.
Yeah.
He's trying to be all stealth. It's like, no way.
Yeah, I don't know how you lift your leg in that thing. It's good
Not
for
at
you
all.
though.
But I appreciate it. I enjoyed looking at it. That's for sure. But I was like, this outfit
He is
is
responsible
crazy.
for the only good action scene in this movie, though. So God
Yeah.
bless him. I love Jim Kelly. I wish he had
For
a
sure.
bigger Hollywood career. And
Yeah,
I need
I
to do a
agree.
better job of tracking down and watching more of his stuff.
Yeah, to be honest, I kind of want to revisit Enter the Dragon. It's been a really long time.
It's
but
never a bad choice to go and revisit.
There's been so many martial arts movies and purely just wanting to watch more and more Jackie Chan movies that I haven't gotten to rewatch ones I love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that's fair.
I would like to rewatch it because I loved it, but yeah. So yeah, Chuck, fun. He does pop up back in the end again.
Yeah, he survived.
But he doesn't have a
wounds.
whole lot to do.
This is why he's a side character.
Yeah, at one point, I guess they sent somebody to try to go kill him at the hospital, but he's already escaped, and he ends up being the driver, I guess. So I thought that was weird.
Yeah. It's just there.
Yeah, you don't see anybody being told to go kill him at the hospital. It was kind of weird because you just have this scene of a guy driving up to the hospital, and then he's looking in. And he's like, "Oh, he's not here," and that's kind of all you get.
Yep.
So
You got to
like,
do a lot
okay.
of connecting by yourself in this movie.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess that's what happens.
And then you got Ralph, played by Richard Roundtree, who is the best actor bar none in this movie.
Yeah,
And the movie is poor for him, his long absence.
yeah.
Because after he gets hit on the head, like he's gone from the movie until the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bummer too because you don't get a lot of interaction for a while too. So you get like in the beginning, you're seeing a lot of the fighting, and you just see them kind of staring independently at what's going on. So you're like, all right, what's going on? Because I don't know what's going on. So why are these guys staring so intently? And then like they finally talk to each other like something's going on. It's like, oh, okay, something is going on. What's going on? I don't know. My fighters are saying something is weird. It's like, all right, when are we going to get clued into what's going on? So you don't get clued in for a while, and then they separate after that dialogue. So then like, they're not around each other again, and then he gets shot and all that kind of stuff, and then they're still separated for a while, right? And then even at the bar, he's out back and he's in the bar, and then like Chuck interacts with the girls. And Ralph interacts with the girls, but they don't actually interact with each other again.
No,
it takes a while.
There's three different movies in this movie.
They meet out back off screen. We stay in the bar, and as they interact, of him getting shot for the first time and all that, it's like this is weird, man.
Well, this is he is partially responsible for my second favorite scene in the movie. Where he goes to the restaurant to talk to the fight promoter, I guess.
Yeah.
Played by Joe Spinell.
Do I know him?
Yeah, we should.
I
Fun little
should. I didn't
cameo.
look familiar.
He's in The Godfather Part 2, both Rocky and Rocky 2, and in Maniac. He's Little Chi-Chi, in The Godfather 2. He was... No? And in Rocky,
I guess I need to
he's
rewatch.
Rocky's boss, and he's the loan shark boss for Rocky.
Oh, wow. Okay. Huh.
And if you ever get a chance to see the movie Maniac, he's excellent. Excellent weirdo.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's only in this one scene. I guess he's just in town, happy to do it.
Yeah, he
but
played
it's a
I thought
fun
he was
scene.
good. It is fun, and it's a nice back and forth.
Yeah, Richard Roundtree gets to interrogate him and intimidate him.
I think this is actually where I think the line was, "I didn't ask." I think that actually came from him. I think that was in that scene, because I think it was about him sitting down or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was him that pulled that one off. You know what? I thought he was really good. It's just kind of weird because he becomes a very different kind of character when he's with everybody else towards the end of the movie.
Well, yeah, Fred Williamson has to be the coolest cat in every scene he's with. And Jim
Right.
Brown's is number 2, so Richard Roundtree becomes a bit meeker. His gun is half the size of their gun.
Right. And he's now making more of the comedic jokes and things. And it's like, this is weird. You were such a,
Yeah, you were Shaft in the beginning of the movie, and you were cool
Yeah.
and smooth and looking into things, and then he's kind of meek. And I'm like,
then very, very different. So that was kind of weird.
Now I want to get to my favorite character, the sheriff.
Oh my gosh.
This hilariously old sheriff who must be like 80 years old. Or at least he seems to be a full-time farmer, part-time sheriff. That's how he's dressed anyway.
How he's dressed, but I think he's got to be full-time sheriff because I haven't seen a single other officer at all.
He's the entire police department. And he has teleportation powers.
Yes.
Because he keeps on sneaking up behind every character. He's just like, whoa! All of a sudden he's there in every scene. And the guys are turning around.
He says he had some people trailing them at some point.
He says that. He says, I heard it over the radio and I got here first. He says, I happen to be in the neighborhood or whatever. He's always got an excuse for why he's on the scene. I was like, is he going to be the bad guy or something? No, he's just very friendly and...
Randomly, all of a sudden, they're at the police station or the sheriff's station.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you guys are okay. I looked into your backgrounds. I'm like...
You do have gun permits, so I guess you can keep blowing up Staten Island?
Yeah, exactly.
And he keeps popping up like, you guys need to stop blowing things up. And
literally pops up out of nowhere.
Does nothing. He just keeps allowing them to do it.
Yes, no. There's no... It is the Wild West in Staten Island.
I guess so. It is nuts. And yeah, his the way he's dressed too is like there's like almost no indication like, oh, hey, I guess there's a badge there. Oh, he's at the sheriff's station, so I guess he's legit. You
see his badge, and it's like this little really pathetic tin star looking thing that looks like it came out of a cereal box.
Yeah.
But he's so old.
He's so old, yeah.
Like, he would have been too old for the cast of Cocoon old. Like, this is...
And he's completely useless. He doesn't help in any shape or form. Nope. That's why I was kind of saying, like, I thought Ralph and Chuck were basically co-main characters. But I get your argument. And so that's why I was like, I guess then the sheriff's kind of useless. I guess it's the girls. Like, the one girl, which, by the way, I'm like... they keep showing them in the beginning. Like, it kept, between the fight sequences, they kept cutting to those two girls in the audience. And then it's like, I have no idea why. They keep, and I made a note too, like, so you don't hear them talking. Yeah. And I'm like, I made a note of, like, who are they? Why do we keep coming to them? I don't understand. And then all of a sudden they're talking to our main characters, like, I guess they know each other. We have no idea how or what the relation is or whatever. But they seem buddy-buddy with them, and they work at this bar, but I thought they're from L.A., so I don't understand any of that connection. But, like, I guess the one girl does
one of them
help
is
them out.
Chuck. And
is that what it was? Yeah. I guess they help them out. They do bring them to the uncle's cottage or house or whatever or something. So, they do have some use there. And then I guess
the other one sleeps with Cal.
And gives information. I guess that's what it was. They gave information. So I guess they had some use there. But yeah, not a whole lot.
I gave the category a 2. Mostly
that is
because of Richard Roundtree and Jim Kelly.
And I guess this is where our scoring is off, right? Because I had them in Hero, which is part of the reason why Hero was higher for me, is because I kind of threw all of them together. Mm-hmm. Even though I would agree that the real big main stars, heroes, would be those two, would be Jay and Cal. But yeah, that's why I had them there. So going off of not having them in sidekick category, I had it at a 1. Mm. Do we just bump it to a 1.5, or do we go 2 here? It's, I guess, the debate. Well, I guess what would be the score here?
I got no problem. I want to bring this down to a 1.5, I guess. Bring it back down to 8, but if you want to go 8.5 final score, that's fine too.
So you had it at a 2. I guess I'll put it at a 2 if we're putting those two characters.
So 8.5 total is our total for this movie?
Yeah, 8.5.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that, I guess.
It is not our lowest. It is our second to lowest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have, so far, if you're scoring at home, I guess, our highest rated movie so far is 48 Hours with 12 points. Then we have The Junk Man at 10.
Yeah.
And then we have One Down, Two to Go at 8.5. And then at the bottom so far is The Sword and the Sorcerer.
6, yeah.
At 6, yes.
Somehow, supposedly, this movie had a budget of $4 million, which is the same budget as The Sword and the Sorcerer. I feel like we got a lot more bang for our buck in The Sword and the Sorcerer. I'll say that much.
I'm wondering too, is that tournament and the explosions sucked up all the money.
So many.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much money this movie actually made. It was very unclear. Supposedly one thing said, well, it made $1 million 1 month, and then I never saw a final tally.
Interesting.
So I have no idea how much money this movie actually made. It was all backed up by these European bankers that were trying to get into the movie game, and shady, I guess. I don't know.
Sounds it a little bit.
That's it for me on this movie.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right.
So I guess at this point, then, we need to pick our next movie, right? And I think it's your turn.
It is my turn, and I've already chosen.
Oh, my goodness. What am I in store for?
We're doing some Chuck. Some Chuck Norris.
Oh, no. I was hoping we'd bounce back.
No, not yet. Next one.
Not yet? All right.
Silent Rage.
What a title.
Yeah.
What a title. I am slightly interested on title alone.
Starring Chuck Norris and Ron Silver.
Wait.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Sheriff tries to stop the killing spree of a silent, maniacal murderer who, as the result of a secret genetic experimentation by an unethical scientist, has the ability to self-heal. It is Chuck Norris versus Wolverine.
Wow. I didn't realize Chuck Norris did that kind of sci-fi action-y type thing. That's interesting.
News to me as well, and Ron Silver appears to be playing the evil scientist.
Oh, yes. Okay, that would be the role I would hope he would be in. Okay. And that's on Crackle, by the way.
Yes.
Everybody. Which I think is a pretty easy to use thing that I get even on my Roku, so that shouldn't be too bad. Commercials again, but Silent Rage.
There you go.
All right, man. All right, you ready to end this?
I am ready.
All right. That is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
I know gun fu.